Hi guys, Deluded Gooner. We've had 13 years of mediocrity and failure. We've all had our say, Arsenal fans and Arsenal players, pundits. We've all had our say as to why we've had these barren years. I mean, we've blamed players, we blame fans, we blame the board, we blame managers, we've blamed everyone. We all know the reasons. We've been at it at lengths. You've had your say, I've had my say. But I do believe there's some isolated reasons. When you look at them individually, they don't look like that big of a problem. But together, collectively, they make a big cocktail. And I believe it contributes to why we haven't succeeded on the level that we want to succeed on the sporting front. Let's get into it. No pride in the shirts, firstly. No pride. Back in the days, you saw it. You saw the old Arsenal team. Every fan can take losing. There's no fan. There's no. I mean, let me rephrase that. No fan wants to lose, but it's a part and parcel of the game. You have to be able to take a loss. No logical fan has a problem with losing. The problem is losing in comical ways. We're a big club. We don't lose 5-1 and all the time, and everyone remembers a 6-0 at Chelsea. And there's numerous examples of us capitulating. Like, we don't lose like that. We can take a loss. Back in the days, like I said, we lost when it was soldiers at the trenches and we gave it our all, or it was a dodgy ref decision. Now we're losing before we even got onto the pitch, which brings me into my next point. Pressure. The boys have shown they cannot hack pressure and they've got a losing mentality. How many games have we seen in the Champions League when we play better in the group, in the game when the fixture were out of the tie already, or we've seen us play better in Premier League and Champions League games when we're a goal behind. It looks like we look assured of ourselves, which is a loser's mentality. I mean, you could even look at the first game of the group, PSG. We looked clueless until we went a goal down. Then we realised, oh, we're playing a football match. That's loser's mentality. That's a defeative attitude. That's not one you should have, which goes into not having pride for the shirt. I mean, too many times when we lose, it also looks like year 11s versus year 7s, us being the year 7s. Which brings me into my next point. Whether it's an ignorance or they're just generally retarded, I think it's an ignorance to not learn from mistakes. I mean, we had a Christmas party in the same period, Everton versus City. You shouldn't be having that if you want to win the league. I know this because I saw it on several players' girlfriends' Snapchats. I saw Holding being silly, Bellerin being silly, Akpom being silly, a lot of the younger ones. So yeah, but back to the main point. Two crucial games. We all know that we needed to get 3-4 points from that. Bottled both of them from winning positions. So you'd think the boys, with seeing that how they bottled in the season a 6-pointer in a week, you'd think they go into, for example, Watford versus Chelsea, aware of these same mistakes. Poor performance in both of them games. Ignorance to not learn from the mistakes, not to go over it. But when you have a manager who rather sillily at times likes to be too optimistic and see the best in people, this encourages complacency, which is in turn the reason for this mediocre mentality at my club. Arsenal reminds me of Silicon Valley. Like, it reminds me of the Silicon Valley or a pretty little startup in Hackney, and that a lot of people have grown up with this club in regards to the players. Not really an expectation. It's complete complacency. It's great that we have a family mentality, but when you see where we are now, it's just not on. A lot of these players, if they weren't English or the manager didn't have an unhealthy obsession with them, wouldn't have been here and allowed to, quite frankly, not progress as expected and be here not progressing as much as thought. They wouldn't be here for this long. You've seen players that are not English be shipped off despite being okay for this. So this is that's another reason. There's just so many accountability. I'll give it to Wenger. He has, and quite rightly, a lot lands with the manager. You have to be accountable. He holds his hands up, but at the same time, the players are not being held accountable. It encourages the family mentality, not learning from mistakes, becoming complacent. The players need to be dug out at times. I'm not saying you need to dig them out at every occasion possible, but they need to be dug out. They need to realise they're at a big club. Certain performances, you get dropped, and you need to show a reaction. You play for your shirt. It doesn't matter how good or how crap you are. If you play for your shirt and you earn it, you'll start for any big club, and that's how it should be, and that's how it isn't at Arsenal. There's just so much. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Like, there's a lot of problems wrong. So again, back into the family club mentality. It's like a social club. You're seeing the nonsense we're saying on Twitter every week, every fixture. You see XYZ player say we're ready, we're focused with this and that, only to put in a crap result. The official Arsenal Twitter account and Facebook account egg this on. They whoever runs that's, quite frankly, is a twat and pretty immature, because they egg this on. They invite fans to ridicule our fans. They invite pressure onto the fans and to the players. It's just ridiculous. The players invite onto themselves with this nonsense as well. That's why I like players like Danny Welbeck. You rarely see him tweet off his account. It'll only be something about like talking about his injury. There's just so much wrong with this club. A lot of values that were here before Wenger and George Graham have been lost. Have been lost. It's almost like a daycare center at this club, and it's not on. It's not on. And when you look at it and you see a board that puts commercial success over sporting success, can you be confident we're going to return to the glory days? No. It's good that we're a close knit bunch, but again, this just breeds mediocrity. Again, we always talk about how we're classy and we're this and we're that, but in reality, we're not. We're looking at it through rose tints. Sadly, we're as mediocre as they come. It hurts to say this. I do believe we have rich resources, and I do rate my club highly. But compared to our previous standards, we're extremely, extremely, extremely mediocre. I mean, even if we look at it last year, letting Leicester win the league. I'm not being an idiot. No one can be an idiot. We were not the only team in the title race. But let's look at the facts. 10 points. Leicester beat us by over 10 points. A team like Arsenal, the old boys. Do you think Henry, etc., would have let Leicester win the league? And even if they did win the league, do you really think we'd be 10 points off? I can't say we would. These boys were. So that just shows that they would like to win a trophy. They weren't dying to win. There's not a dying mentality to achieve success. The players don't want to be winners for themselves. The manager, he wants to be a winner to a degree, but he's too old-fashioned in inspiring his bunch. The board couldn't care less about winning, as long as the Champions League's there. They would like to win. Winning's not the benchmark. Winning used to be the benchmark at Arsenal. Winning and pride used to be the two values that Arsenal used to carry and hold in high regard, and we've gone away from that. We've now got players at a big club that can't handle pressure, that can't put in performances week in, week out, that can't graft, that always lose in comical fashion. There's just so much wrong with this club, even down to things like the theme tune at the Emirates. When you go to Chelsea, you hear Chelsea's theme tune. When you go to United, you hear the Glory, Glory. Even Spurs, you hear the Spurs. We don't strike fear into our opponents. Back in the days at Highbury or with other players, even in general, anyone that's played football knows if you've played a team that might not necessarily be from the same cut cloth that you guys are from, you can scare them in the change rooms or in the tunnel, and that's 80% of the job done. If you've scared an opponent before playing, like Roy Keane and Vieira, etc. used to do, if you've scared the opponents before you've even set on the pitch, half the job is done. Our boys don't do that. Look at the theme tune again, the theme tune at the Emirates. It's like a theatre. We need some sort of originality back. I've been to the Emirates. There's a lot of people that chant, but I've also seen stewards telling people to sit down and quiet down. We need to bring back the parties and atmosphere. We need to make it uncomfortable for people. But yeah, I'm not here to rant, guys. Deluded Goon is signing out. There's just a few things I think's wrong with my club. I'm out.